Cheyenne buys and Montserrat Ruiz. Domination, minus 360, moderate favorite right here for Cheyenne buys. 5 wins, 1 loss, 25.5 years old, 5'3" tall, has an amazing reach. She has the reach advantage, she has the height advantage, she has the age advantage. She doesn't have the experience advantage, but she does have the advantage in that Montserrat Ruiz is taking this fight on short notice. Let's see, Cheyenne buys was supposed to be fighting Kate Hansen, who I think she probably would have beat. But now she's fighting Montserrat Ruiz. I think that is a little bit of a step down in competition. Montserrat Ruiz, 9 wins and 1 loss. Her only 1 loss coming to Danielle Taylor. Most of her wins inside Invicta FC. First round, a key lock submission win over Janessa Morandin in a main event inside of Invicta FC. Let's see how she wins her fights. 4 decision wins, 3 submission wins, and 2 knockout wins. She might have a pretty good grappling and wrestling background. But guys, I urge you, look at Cheyenne Bai's last fight on Dana White Industries against, let's see, Hillary Rose around 6 months ago. I mean, she looked like one of the best strikers I've ever seen. She's an amazing striker. 75% going for Cheyenne Bai to win the fight. I'm definitely going with Cheyenne Bai in the fight. I mean, her striking is so good. I wish I could show you a video on the UFC website or on the UFC YouTube channel of her striking, because it is absolutely insane. Her last fight, in my opinion, was a 30-26. It was so dominant in the striking game in that fight. But I mean, come on. If she keeps the fight on the feet, she's 100% winning the fight. And I 100% think that Cheyenne Bai is going to keep the fight on the feet and win the fight by 30-27 or even a 30-26 unanimous decision win over Montserrat Ruiz in the fight. That is my prediction. Cheyenne Bai is unanimous decision. And then after that, we have Max Griffin and Kanan Song. Max Griffin has been talking a lot of smack about Kanan Song, saying he's going to destroy him. He doesn't even know who Kanan Song is. 16 wins, 8 losses, and 16 wins and 5 losses. They're both pretty similar on these welterweight rankings, the 51st and 52nd best welterweight fighters in the world. Max Griffin is 35 years old. Kanan Song is 31 years old. A slight height advantage, but not the reach advantage. Max Griffin, 76-inch reach, 5'11" inches tall. Kanan Song, 6 foot tall, and has a reach of 71.5 inches. This is going to be a very interesting fight. 65% of the vote going for Kanan Song to win the fight, and he is the underdog in the fight. Max Griffin is getting up there in the age, 35 years old as of this recording. Inside the UFC, he's had a really up and down career. Joined the UFC in 2016, lost one fight to Colby Covington by 3rd round TKO. First round knockout, lost one fight to Elizabeth Gillespie. He got a win over Mike Perry. Got 2 losses to Curtis Melender and Thiago Alves. Got a win over Zalimi Madaev. Lost 2 fights to Alex Morano and Alex Oliveira. Then won 1 fight against Ramiz Brahimaj. And guess what, guys? His career inside the UFC has actually not been too good. His record, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 wins, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. So his record inside the UFC is 4 and 6. Not the best record inside the UFC. And he is a 35-year-old guy. But he does have an amazing reach advantage. 76 inches to 71.5 inches. Kanan Song, this man is an absolute beast. The 51st best welterweight fighter in the world, has a couple of fights inside the UFC. First round knockout win over Bobby Nash in 15 seconds. Second round knockout win over Hector Aldana, an undefeated fighter at the time. Beat Derek Kranz by decision. A first round knockout win over Colin Potter. His only loss inside of the UFC coming to Alex Morano. Lost 2 fights to Brad Rydell, who was literally in the co-main event on this fight card. He fought Israel Adesanya. I mean, how insane is that? Kanan Song fight Israel Adesanya? That is absolutely insane. He has 8 knockout wins, 6 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. I'm not really sure if we checked how Max Griffin usually wins his fights. So 8 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 6 decision wins. In this fight, I think the striking is going to be very even. Max Griffin can use that reach advantage to win most of these striking exchanges, kind of put out the jab and get a nice right hand every now and then in the fight. But Kanan Song, in my opinion, has a slight wrestling and submission and grappling advantage in the fight. So if he wants to, he can get the fight to the ground. He is the underdog in the fight, but I'm going to say right now, this is the second underdog I'm going to be going with on this fight card. I'm saying Kanan Song is going to win this fight by decision. I think the striking is pretty even. Even though Max Griffin has the reach advantage in the fight, Max Griffin has fought a lot of people that have the reach disadvantage in his fights against Alex Morano, Zalimi Madaev, Thiago Alves, Curtis Melender. A lot of these guys have the reach disadvantage against Max Griffin, but they still do really good, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. I think Kanan Song is going to go out there and do really good in the striking in this fight, and when he needs to, take the fight to the ground. Get some control times from ground and pound, possibly get a TKO, maybe even a submission, but overall, the fight's going to go all the way, and I'm going with the underdog in Kanan Song to win this fight by unanimous decision. And then after that, after the Max Griffin Kanan Song fight, so far, I have Kanan Song winning his fight, Cheyenne Baez winning her fight, Macy Chastain winning her fight, Grant Dawson winning his fight, Trevin Giles winning his fight, Montel Jackson winning his fight, Julia Villa winning her fight, and then JP Baez winning his fight. And now we go on to an amazing fight right here. I'm gonna say it right now, I have Adrian Yanez winning the fight. This fight is a bantamweight fight. Adrian Yanez and Gustavo Lopez. This fight is a bantamweight fight. Adrian Yanez has looked really impressive in his last two fights on Dana White's Contender Series, the LFA, and inside the UFC. So a first round head kick KO win over Victor Rodriguez, a first round knockout win on Dana White's Contender Series over Brady Huang, a decision win over Kyle Estrada inside of the LFA, first round knockout, second round knockout, first round knockout, decision win. I mean, man, this dude's an absolute beast. As an amateur, went 4-0, first round knockout, third round knockout, first round knockout, and third round knockout. He has so much power in his hands. 7 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 3 decision wins. Out of his losses, all of them coming by decision. His opponent, Gustavo Lopez, I kind of feel a little bit bad for him. His first fight inside the UFC was against Merab Dvalishvili. I believe a top 10, top 15 bantamweight fighter in the world. I think he got like the wrestling takedown, the record in the bantamweight division. Got like 16 takedowns on Gustavo Lopez in the fight. I really feel bad that was his first fight inside the UFC. But then he fought Anthony Burchik and won the fight by first round of written submission. Very impressive there. If you look at how he wins his fight, 6 wins by submission, 5 wins by KO and TKO, and 1 win by decision. In this fight, I assume Gustavo Lopez is gonna have a little bit of the grappling, and submission wrestling background, a little bit of an advantage over Adrian Yanez in the fight. But Adrian Yanez, I mean, he just looks so good. His striking looks so crisp. His kickboxing, his boxing looks so amazing. It's so hard to bet against him in the fight. There's no way I'm betting against him in this fight. I actually had Brady Huang winning his fight against Adrian Yanez, but he ended up knocking him out in 9 seconds into the first round. I was totally off in that prediction. Adrian Yanez himself went on my prediction. He said, better luck next time on that prediction. Then ever since then, I have been a humongous fan of Adrian Yanez. He's an absolute beast. Amazing kickboxing, and I think that is exactly what is going to get him to win tonight. Do we think he's going to get a KO or TKO in the fight? I think it's 50-50 that he gets a KO or TKO in the first round. If he does not get the KO or TKO in the first round, I think the fight is going to go all the way. And I have Adrian Yanez winning this fight in his second fight inside the UFC by unanimous decision, 30-27 on all judges' scorecards. So Adrian Yanez by unanimous decision. And then after that, oh my god. Domination. We have Tai Tuivasa, who was supposed to be fighting Dante Almeida, and it was a 2-1 favorite over. Now he's going to be fighting Harry Hunsucker, who ended up losing on Dana White's Contender Series. He's 32 years old, 6'1" inch tall, has a reach of 75 inches. Tai Tuivasa has the age advantage, has the height advantage, same reach right there, has the experience advantage inside of the UFC, fighting Sergey Spivak, Blago Ivanov, Junior Dos Santos, I believe in a main event. Absolutely insane. Beat Stefan Struve by first round knockout with 1 second left in the round. Insane. Beat Andrei Arlovsky, beat Cyril Asker, beat Rashad Coulter, beat James McSweeney. I mean, come on, dude. How am I going to bet against Tai Tuivasa against a short notice guy that didn't even win on Dana White's Contender Series? Lost against Jared Vanderaa by first round TKO. And they got 1 win over here outside of the UFC against Corey Moon. I honestly don't give much of a chance to Harry Hunsucker in the fight. Only 11% going for Harry Hunsucker to win this fight. I'm definitely going with Tai Tuivasa to win the fight by TKO in the first round. I think this is going to be an absolute domination. So 100% Tai Tuivasa by TKO or knockout in the very first round in the co-main event of UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Holland. An amazing fight right there. But then we go into the co-main event. This is also going to be an amazing fight. 2 guys with only 1 loss on their professional record. Gregor Gillespie, 13 wins, 1 loss. The favorite in the fight at minus 235. 34 years old, 5'11" inches tall, 71-inch reach. Brad Riddell, pretty much a 71-inch reach, also 5'7" inches tall. A little bit of an age advantage, but the underdog in the fight. Brad Riddell, let's check out his last couple of wins. So he has 3 straight wins inside the UFC right now. Decision win, and decision win over Jamie Malarkey, Magomed Mustafayev, and Alex Da Silva. Outside of the UFC, he had a pretty good record of I believe 6 wins and only 1 loss. 5 knockout wins and 4 decision wins. That only 1 loss coming by submission. His opponent Gregor Gillespie, he specializes in his submissions, 13 wins and 1 loss. 6 knockout wins and 5 submission wins and 2 decision wins. He's only one loss coming by KO against Kevin Lee. I mean, you guys probably already know what happened in that one. I mean, it was an amazing head kick KO for Kevin Lee in the fight. I mean, that was his only loss as a professional fighter. Absolutely insane. But before that, second round TKO win over Yancy Medeiros. Just rained down punches on Yancy Medeiros, and the ref had to stop that fight. Second round arm triangle over Vince Patel. First round TKO win over Jordan or Rinaldi, and then a second round arm triangle choke submission win over Jason Gonzalez, a first round knockout win over Andrew Holbrook, and then a decision win over Glyco Franca. I mean, look right there, that's 6 wins in a row inside the UFC, and then his only loss to Kevin Lee. This man is an absolute beast. Amazing grappling. I mean, every single one of these wins dealt with the ground game. TKO win, submission win, TKO win, submission win, TKO win. They all had to do with him taking the fight to the ground, getting a takedown in his fights, landing a lot of ground and shots in his fights, softening them up a little bit, getting a rear naked, getting an arm triangle choke submission, getting a guillotine choke submission, just getting the fight to the ground and getting a lot of ground and pound and a lot of submissions over and over again. So I think this fight has a lot of opportunities for Gregor Gillespie to get a submission in the fight. I think Brad Riddell has a slight striking advantage over Gregor Gillespie, but man, if Gregor Gillespie gets a fight to the ground, he's gonna win the fight by submission most likely. But he is fighting Brad Riddell, who only has 1 loss by submission, so it's very likely Gregor Gillespie gets another submission here. But I think this co-main event is going to go all the way, and I have Gregor Gillespie winning in this co-main event, coming off that devastating loss to Kevin Lee by first round knockout, head kick KO. And I have Gregor Gillespie winning this fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. And guys, the main event, guys, Derek Brunson and Kevin Holland. The first thing I'm going to point out, I'm not really going to look at this stuff right here. He is 37 years old, 6'1" tall, 77-inch reach. Kevin Holland has the age advantage, has the height advantage, has the reach advantage. He is the favorite in the fight on an amazing 6 or 7 fight win streak. But Derek Brunson, if you look at his last couple losses to Israel Adesanya, he landed a head kick and then followed up with some ground and pound shots and beat him just like that. Ronaldo was that head kick, followed up with some shots and knocked him out in the first round. Anderson Silva lost the fight by decision. Robert Whittaker, head kick and then followed up with a bunch more shots. So he certainly has a big weakness when it comes to getting a head kicked, and then those follow-up shots. So, do I think that Kevin Holland could get a head kick in the fight? It's very possible. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna see a knockout in the first or second round. In my opinion, I think that knockout is going to come in the third round from Kevin Holland. I mean, Kevin Holland is an absolute beast. First knockout win over Ronaldo Souza. Literally, I mean, it was insane. He was on the ground like this. The Ronaldo Souza smiling to him and looking down on him. He just goes like this, boom, and Ronaldo Souza like, whoa. He lands one, like 5 right hands in a row, and then knocks Ronaldo Souza out cold. Absolutely insane. Got a weird win over Charlie Ontiveros. I have no idea what happened there. A decision win over Darren Stewart. A third round amazing knockout win in a dominant victory over Joaquin Buckley, and then a first round knockout win over Anthony Hernandez. His last loss inside the UFC to Brendan Allen. So in his last, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. In his last 8 fights, he's gone 7-1. That is amazing. He's fought Thiago Santos, John Phillips, Gerald Mershart, Alessio Di Carico, the Will Santiago, and Dana White's Contender Series. I mean, Kevin Holland is an absolute beast. I'm very hyped on Kevin Holland. But then again, we never count out Derek Brunson and his ground game, because in his last fight with Edmund Shabazian, I actually had Derek Brunson winning the fight. He was a 3-1 favorite in the fight, but I knew Edmund Shabazian has never been. I'm sorry, that was a 3-round fight, I believe. But I thought in that fight, Edmund Shabazian does not have the best takedown defense, and if Derek Brunson gets on top of him and starts to land a lot of ground and pound shots, most likely Derek Brunson is going to win the fight, and that is exactly what happened. Sorry, voice crack. And that's exactly what happened. Derek Brunson ended up winning the fight by TKO in the third round. Exactly what I expected to happen in that fight. So don't count out Derek Brunson. He's coming off of 3 straight wins over Ian Heines and Elias Theodoru. This fight's going to be very interesting. It's very possible we see Derek Brunson get a TKO on the ground over Kevin Holland, but it is also very possible Kevin Holland hits him with a nice right hand. Like that right hand, we saw him, who did he get to win? Like we saw him get against Joaquin Buckley like twice. He got a knockdown, and then in the third round, knocked him out in literally 31 seconds into the third round. I think 100% this one is gonna end in the first, second, or third round, considering it is a 5-round main event. I 100% expect fireworks in the fight, but I'm going with Kevin Holland to win the fight by KO or TKO in the third round. Should be an amazing main event, amazing co-main event, amazing fights on the fight card. So I have Kevin Holland winning his fight in the main event, a 5-round middleweight main event. I have Gregor Gillespie winning his fight in the co-main event in a lightweight fight. I have Taito Ivasa dominating his fight. I have Adrian Yanez winning his fight. I have Kanan the underdog winning his fight. I have Cheyenne Buys dominating her fight.